Rise anymore because Rise has not been working out. He did play it last time and had a tragic game.
Yep, he had fallen quite a lot when he picked Rise. It was a bit ironic, but we are here into this one as Phoenix1 continue their train of Shen bans. And they're going to put on that blue side Cassidon. And again, I think it's actually because P1 are blue that Cassidon gets banned on this side.
And the Cassidon ban here, it kind of does force Unicorns of Love to either deal with the LeBlanc or abandon the way themselves. I definitely see that as something that is pretty first pickable here.
Well, right now they're banning 2 junglers, and none of them are Nidalee so far. Or Zac. So they could actually just ban Nidalee with the last one if they want to, and then see if Mike Young wants to take the Zac.
Yeah, I mean, he'll certainly take the Zac. So right now, it's kind of looking like they are trying to really target Mike Young. They have left some of the split pushers up in top lane. You know, there are priority picks such as the Gragas, such as the LeBlanc. Things like that can be pretty powerful early on.
Yeah, Gragas and Thresh are my 2 nods here. Thresh is going to be the pick here for Special. Very good at the champion, obviously, and that's it.
And I think actually Unicorns are pretty happy with that because they like to play Tahm Kench, which is a good answer to Thresh. And we know that Gragas has been such a high priority pick for them. It is available right now, so they can actually get 2 of those champions that fit their playstyle very well and also will do well against the pick from Phoenix1. P1, Phoenix1,
taking the Gragas this early on, especially if you are going to go for like Gragas Gnar or something like that and obviously put it in the jungle, is that you do open up for a Kha'Zix, which is something that a lot of people have liked as an answer into that Gragas, and we've seen some of the North American junglers have some very effective games on it. Contracts yesterday carrying Gamma and Scare and just coming off of a very strong game as well.
We'll see if that comes through here as well. Mike Young, of course, happy to play the aggressive junglers. Hasn't pulled out the Kha'Zix just yet this tournament, but Gnar picked as the blind. And again, seems to have decent matchup to both the Renekton and the Kled, the champions that we're seeing Zig play over and over and over again. That's the blind top, and they'll wait for Unicorns to get a safe pick at the end of this round.
And if you're a Visichachi, like, you can keep picking this until someone actually beats you, you know, with a specific counter pick. He played the Aurelia himself, so obviously that's a matchup he will know. We've seen Riven as well, which was not as effective due to some ganks also against it.
It's something where I'm waiting for more of kind of the solo queue counter picks to come in. Yes, Aurelia is one, but I mean, I'm waiting for someone to bring out the Quas special. Swain actually smashes Gnar in lane. I think that is a very good matchup. Not a lot of people play those sorts of champions, though.
I mean, you can also play Cassiopeia top, Lucian top, Jace, like these kind of champions will win the matchup. The problem is then once you're kind of out of the laning phase, you don't always offer that much value, and Gnar with his Mega Gnar can still be impactful in some of these team fights.
Yeah, Skorky picked up there alongside Nidalee, so magic damage certainly in here for Phoenix1. And just to talk about your point with the Swain though, I agree, I want to see it, but you've got to react to the metagame. You can't just learn Swain hoping everyone else learns Gnar. You've got to say, okay, Gnar's here to stay, people are learning it, now I will practice my counter pick so you don't waste practice time. But I would love to see in a month, Swain comes in as a counter pick.
Yeah, and we have seen some more of those kind of specific solo queue counter picks and stuff coming up in NA. We've seen Pantheon brought out. We've seen Jax into Camille, which is traditionally a very good matchup for Jax. I'm expecting to just see Kled again, honestly, because it's something that Zig is pretty confident on. And if he can get put ahead with this Nidalee, then you can look to all in the Gnar, and you still will have the utility of the powerful engage.
So what we saw here was Corki being locked in by P1 after they banned the Cassidon, which is a matchup some of the European mid laners have taken, at least playing the Cassidon against the Corki, because after level 6 you can kind of all in him. Actually leaving a lot of the normal S-tier mid laners open, like LeBlanc. Exile, when he joined the EULCS last year in the summer split, it was LeBlanc and Yasuo he played a lot. LeBlanc was actually very successful. The Yasuo was really terrible in like 0-10 performances. But that LeBlanc actually looked very good, and he's, once again, for him going back to a little bit of an old school, but we've obviously seen a lot of LeBlanc in the current meta.
And we have to remember how dominant the 2 Corki games that Ryu has shown us have been this tournament. Both games he absolutely smashed. He was deathless in one with a lot of kills. The other he had 11 kills, I believe, so he has been very dominant on this pick. And also the support, you're not going to be able to take up, you know, the Tahm Kench. And I'm surprised it's not the Braum, it's actually the Rakan that they're trying to target, perhaps trying to deny the Xayah-Rakan duo.
We've seen a lot of Blitzcrank being picked after Thresh as well, and then you just gank the bot lane and you actually hook the Thresh. And we see the Twitch obviously from Samax, it is his preferred champion. With it being left open, he can obviously lock that in. And I'm still looking at a Blitzcrank from Hylissang coming in when you see these bans here from P1.
Sure, I think it's pretty likely. I do think the LeBlanc is somewhat unlocked here, though. We talked about Ryu having some good games, but the rest of these games were all with Mike Young playing a hard crowd control jungler here. Ooh, it's going to be Draven for Arrow. Draven Thresh into Twitch and something. This will be fun.
And this is one of Arrow's specials. He is known as one of, if not the best Draven in North American solo queue. He plays it a lot. He's an extremely lane-dominant champion. When you bring in Draven with the Thresh, this is a very powerful duo.
And I want people to look at his current summoner spell.
Exhaust.
Little,
Ignite Exhaust aggro lane.
I really hope he keeps it. He swapped it back to heal, sadly, but I'll tell a little story in-game about his Draven experiences here in Europe. But the Blitzcrank is being hovered by Hylissang, as we talked about before.
Yeah. I want to point out, though, that this Renekton pick right here, Blitz gets locked in. We've seen this one before in the matchup, but I think Renekton is a weak matchup into Gnar. We've seen Gnar be the counter pick into the Renekton, and it's Zig now, who's only played 2 champions the entire tournament for them on Renekton. Like, I wonder if this guy has a champion pool anymore, or if it's dried up and he just will only play a Black Cleaver top laner.
I mean, part of it is you want some sort of a front line, you want some sort of a tanky pick. What do you pick into this that is actually going to match up well, right? There's not a lot of tanks that actually are performing in the current meta in top lane because they have such bad matchups. So even though this is not a favorable matchup, it's one that you can survive and hope to have teamfight relevance, because the game is not going to be about you. It's going to be about snowballing this Draven and the Corki.
Yeah, I just say if you're going to play for teamfights, then, you know, pick the Gallios of the world yourself. Play a real tank who can actually just say, screw it, TP into the teamfight and actually frontline. So I don't know if I love the Renekton here. He's supposed to be lane dominant. That's kind of his major strength, and it's a weak lane.
I mean, right now with Mike Young on Italy, normally you see like the Elise pick with Renekton, you just tower dive over and over, and that's how you get your big advantage. Like a well-executed Italy obviously can go to a lane like that and also execute a tower dive, but it's not normally what you pick Italy for. You don't pick her as a massive ganking jungler. But Mike Young has obviously shown some very good games on this champion where he's actually managed to get super fed, and we need to see if he can do that with this draft, because they're putting a lot of focus on him by early picking his champion as well.
And I mean, one of the unique strengths I think about Nidalee is how well you can actually pressure turrets. If you come to a lane, you push someone out, you know, if you gank mid lane, you force the LeBlanc back with your heal attack speed boost, your red buff, auto attack damage on turret, in addition to the marksman being there as well. Like, you can knock down these turrets incredibly fast.
We'll see if they can do that when we are getting ourselves into the game. And this might just be the last one that either of these teams play here. Phoenix1 must win to keep themselves in the running for playing in the final. Unicorns of Love lock in their spot if they win this one here. And we'll see which of these squads can make it happen as we get ourselves in the game.
So Arrow gets his Draven here. Really want to see what he can do on it, because just when the P1 arrived to Europe, I'm not going to name the team they played against, but they instantly got some scrims against European teams. And the first thing that happened was they faced a Draven with Exhaust. And Arrow wrote in the old chat, he was like, Draven with Exhaust, lol, like, what is that? Level 2, he got first blooded. So he instantly learned, okay, let's see. Sadly, he's not running Exhaust this time around. He's giving it to X-Special, but I want to see a good Draven performance.
And it's going to be very exciting. I mean, Draven is often very hit or miss. This champion snowballs incredibly hard, but you know, if they can get down there and focus it, because Draven wants to play pretty aggressive, you can turn things around on him.
Let's see what happens here. Quick invade by Unicorns of Love. Going to put a Trinket ward down to spot a blue buff for Gromp. Start by Mike Young. Of course, no surprise he'll begin with Raptors, but if he gets topside, they'll know in a bit.
I'd also say I feel like there's a ton of pressure on Hylissang in this lane matchup, because if you're not hitting effective hooks on the Blitz, the Twitch is going to be pressured so ridiculously heavily by the Draven Thresh lane. Blitz adds very little if you cannot actually hit your proper hooks.
I mean, obviously the same for X-Special, right? He also needs to set it up for Draven. Like, back in the day when Draven had, you know, his passive, there was a bleed effect. He was a massive lane bully. Even early game, you could just all in level 2 and you would win the trades. After we obviously changed it a long time ago when he was stacking up, you know, for gold instead. He prefers like a lot of farm lanes very early on, but once he goes back, you know, and you get that first AD item, then suddenly you start hitting like a truck, and you can really destroy squishy targets like the Switchy. But obviously, especially if he lands that good hook, Samuels is kind of left on his own.
It's going to be pretty interesting to see which build he actually goes for, too, as Death Dance Raven is a solo queue special. That's something that so many people are frustrated playing against. Death Dance into PD, even these sorts of kind of like semi-tank builds with tabbies, can be so ridiculously hard to actually burst down the Draven, while you can still go even things like, you know, the rapid fire Shiv, i.e. pure DPS builds too.
The old school rush BT Draven for as much AD as possible. The Ghost Blade Draven. There's actually a lot of different item choices you can go for. Exile taking a trade in the mid lane.
Good chunk out. Primed it with the Q, lands the W afterwards, and they're trading blows here. Corrupting Potion stacking versus Ryu regenning off the Doran shield, so temporary health deficit for Ryu in the mid lane. Mike Young, we saw from the earlier camps, was a full camp ahead of Xerxes based on the early leashing going through, and the fact that he was Nidalee in the first place. So we'll see if that turns into more later on. Rest of the laning phase looks pretty standard. Equal CS across most of these spots.
Yeah, I mean, Nidalee has such a fast clear already. You know, level 4, pre-3 minutes. Going to be able to get out there and actually, yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. But yeah, Xerxes is actually down 2 levels. He will hit 3 soon, though.
He's afraid of Nidalee invading. He did Raptor's Red rush to blue to make sure he doesn't lose his entire map. And you know, Nidalee's just kind of hard farming, can take Krug's way if he wants to, and look at this gank to the bot side.
Yeah, they are looking to set this up. I mean, if Blitz can hit the hook, they know that P1 has not actually placed any vision. They are playing pretty far back, though, so Xerxes does not want to invest that much time, knowing that Nidalee will be farming, knowing that Nidalee can be out there on the map, and again, Mike Young counter-jump.
He's getting quite a big advantage on this Nidalee here. Obviously, a fantastic clear speed for him, and he is on the top side, but Vizicachi is still fairly healthy. Meganar just
time's out. And Zig has a Fury bar right here, so if he keeps himself Furied up, he can go for the dive.
Oh, and he used his jump. They're going to go for the all-in here for sure.
Here's the big stun. Wait for Tyre. No, going to go a little bit early onto this one. The damage output's there. Easy. Why bother flashing? He's got the W available. Mike gets the kill and a summoner down.
And that's what we said in Champs. Like with Nidalee, you can still go for these tower dives here, especially when you have a Renekton setting it up for you. Very good dive from P1. And the classic Mike Young start, I feel like, on Nidalee.
Yeah, and Mike Young's hanging out here. They're going to see if they can actually re-dive. Vizicachi
when he TP's back.
Oh,
it's dirty!
He's built up Fury.
He's building Fury. He's going to have the empowered. He may make him cancel here. He's going for it.
He leaped away. There's a giant stun as well. Mike Young's going to land the javelin. He's going to land the damage of it. Zig drops the aggro. One more shadow to him, and no! Too much damage taken away, and Chachi gets the kill and a blue buff.
Whoops. Whoopsie,
really
whoopsie.
Nice play from Chachi there. That was so risky for him to finish that TP. He saw that the dive was coming. If he dies there, the game is actually over for him. He has 15 CS. He's completely screwed, but he pulls off the play. I mean, he gets the kill. That is just so big.
So this is the first one. Zig coming in, obviously, with a very easy stun onto Vizicachi with Mike Young already there, as Freak highlighted. The flash not necessary, but then with the return here, you then gotta ask, did Vizicachi know that with the minions dying, he could actually survive the 2v1 or get a return kill, or did he just gamble in the end and actually end up winning on it?
I mean, it's definitely close, right? They started the dive before the last minion had died, so I don't think that played too much into it. I think the Vizicachi played it very well to leap away from the Nidalee and delay some of that damage coming in, so just credit to him playing it very well in that 1v2, and that was a critical juncture in the game, because that can be game-ending if you die on the repeat.
Yeah, I also want to point out, I'm not sure if Zig could have tanked one more turret shot or not. He ended with about 200 health left, and if he guessed wrong and left early, that's the reason Nidalee died.
And even if he actually dies the next turret shot, Mike Young probably could have finished off Vizicachi and then gotten out, and if you kill him off with the wave pushed in, then you still actually punish him pretty heavily and the trade's okay.
Because before the fight even started, Chachi was like 15, 16 CS down already. Now he has a massive wave coming into Zig that Zig will of course pick up, so it's still an advantage to P1's top laner. Mid lane, Exile is doing more than fine here on this LeBlanc. Not actually being ganked early on, not been under a whole lot of pressure, and just able to farm even with Ryu.
Yeah, and Zig's honestly doing pretty well for a matchup that's supposed to look pretty bad. I think it outscales later on, but he's even got both summoners up, so a repeat gank can look good, and Chachi right now tired, not going to build up Meganar for a while.
And I mean, Chachi has to be a little bit careful, you know, as Zig can be getting closer to level 6. That all-in when you are in mini Gnar is very, very frightening. So he's going to have to pay respect to that.
Looks like it's going to be a quick recall out of the Gnar. You can see the mini-map, the circle, and he's back in lane, so, or back in base, I should say. So might get one more wave denied. We watch Ryu again in the battle with Exile, but gets chunked under the turret. Pretty nice damage out of this LeBlanc.
And we've seen now a few games of Exile on Vladimir, Kassadin, like two champions that obviously can take over team fights. It is a little bit harder, I feel, on LeBlanc for him, but he obviously lost that Kassadin, and he needed a somewhat safe pick for himself in that mid lane before losing to in the next phase when P1 could start banning him out even more. And I think actually going for a pick like LeBlanc, where it is fairly easy to escape ganks, makes a lot of sense for Unicorns. But P1, they're looking top lane again.
They do have some knowledge of where Mike Young may be, though, because of the really good vision they got actually in the red side of P1's jungle. And they're moving their bot lane up to top.
Yeah, this could be a very big risk. If P1 goes to the dive at the wrong time, they're going to get immediately attacked by Blitzcrank. And you can see that Renekton's still hanging around, but it looks like Mike Young far enough away. He's already recalled, so no dive will happen. They'll notice the lane swap, and now it'll be a rush for who can knock the turret down first.
And this is a very classic swap from Unicorns of Love. Once they push out the bot lane wave, they like to go back, get that first item on the way, and then just instantly go top and see if you can surprise the enemy top laner and see if you can then get down that first tower. Arrow is now realizing everything is happening, and he's trying to push the lane, but he's alone down the bottom lane, because Special is going top lane to try and defend here with Zig.
It's going to be a bit difficult. We'll see if anyone can show up in time. Mike Young is going to show to help with the push, really help defend.
They cleared out.
Yeah, Zig's going to ult to clear out the waves a little bit. Goes for the early Fury. And yeah, that'll be enough AoE damage. Watch out for the hook. Of course, it's still on cooldown for a few more seconds, and not a major issue. They buy a few more seconds. Now Arrow's going to be alone bot lane, but the question is, can he still outpush 3?
And in the meantime, Xerxes actually went to try to steal away Mike Young's red, but he failed. Mike Young was able to get there in time, take it away. So, I mean, that's a big XP advantage over to Mike Young. Xerxes still level 5 against the level 7 Nidalee.
Tax the lane! Get that
one way to get experience. He needs 6.
Yeah, and Mike Young actually not helping with the push right here. This is an interesting choice to be had because Mike Young's prioritizing his own farm over ensuring first turret gold.
Also, wants to give the safety if they try to dive top lane, right? He can be in position to respond, being on that top side, and he's trying to take away more and more from Xerxes, knowing he was bot side, he failed the red counter jungle. He can steal away the full top side of the jungle.
I really like the reaction just from P1 here against that lane swap, knowing exactly what to do, especially just... Mid lane. Oh, he's going back in.
He's going to land that chunk, and Mike Young actually forced to flash away. If someone else was there, it likely was a death, so it's the risk-averse play in case there was a Gnar or something.
But P1 so quickly just adapting to it with X-Special, just not going back down to bot lane, just instantly go top, knowing, okay, now we can actually defend this one, because obviously there's no one who can really TP in and put more pressure on them, because there's no TP from Exile right now. Chachi was already in the lane, and it actually meant now that Chachi had to share experience and lost the entire wave bot lane that was actually set up for him to be picked up, so he's really far down in CS at the moment.
Look at the scoreboard. It's 1,400 gold difference with an equal number of kills on both sides right here. So it's been a massive farm difference. A lot of that centered on Mike Young individually. You can see his individual gold lead is up 1,000 over Xerxes.
Thankfully, at least Hillsang was able to push Mike Young off their own red buff, so kind of defended that for Xerxes, because it does get very important to defend these camps. Your jungler cannot be put too far behind, or Nidalee can just have free reign. You can start farming both sides of the jungle if you really do get too far ahead.
Unicorns of Love once again trying a lane swap just the other way around. They push up the top lane. Recall, Samax is now sneaking on the way to the bottom lane. Zig right now should be aware of this, because what you do as a team is as soon as that dual lane from Unicorns goes missing, you call that there's a chance they show up in the other lane. So Zig is playing very passive for that reason.
And here's the attempt here on this one. Zig might have to get away from the hook. Yep, and it was a nice attempt. Hillsong tried to predict flash, but Zig on land, long enough range away, had the chance to react to it instead and just dodged.
This is going to be a 4v2 though. Xerxes is here. Mike Young is in the area. We'll see if they can actually survive this.
Go for Zig getting some shots in as well. Nice wave clear out of the Draven ulti means there's not a lot of safety left for the P1, or sorry, the UOL dive, and he's going to be okay for now. And look, the top lane turret taking auto attack, should be first turret in the top lane for Phoenix1.
Yeah, once again, P1 just in full control. You actually even see Unicorns of Love went in very early with Chachi for that dive here. Obviously no Mega Gnar from him. Couldn't really tank the tower long enough, and they instantly backed away when they saw Mike Young. So a second lane swap from Unicorns of Love, where P1, they respond really well, and that's why they're so far ahead.
I really like how Zig is actually proactively using the ultimate to just clear out these waves and delay the turret siege. A very intelligent play, but they're TPing down. They're going to go for this dive again.
Flash by another hook back into range, getting some damage in Hillsong, but now it's the autos in for Samax. How much health can Zig have? Not enough. Is it Chachi getting the kill with the boomerang in the back of the head?
I mean, is this even worth it, though? Because P1 never stopped pushing on the top side. They're committing so much to just getting this first turret. They're going to lose 2 turrets to this Draven, and he's going to have so much gold off of this.
Exile's on his way to try and defend, but Ryu is actually following him, and Mike Young is behind as well. Exile right now going in.
A lot of damage. Special could die for this one. Damage coming across. Good exhaust buys a few more seconds, and thankfully he doesn't have aggro, but finally the shot comes through in Exile. Getting himself the solo kill and a bit of a 1v3 defends the turret.
Yeah, he defends the turret. Very important for the Unicorns of Love. They didn't lose another one. Bot lane tower will fall right now. So Unicorns getting a lot of gold back all of a sudden, and a kill for Exile, who's doing very well in this early game.
Definitely a nice swing.
It would have been interesting to see if Zig actually wanted to TP to one of those minions, because had he actually TP'd to the minion out of range of the turret, Chachi wouldn't have been able to finish the turret there. But it's kind of the question of, is it worth the TP to just delay that?
Speaking of delays, it's Ryu delayed getting out of the mid lane as Samax jumps on him. A light knockup coming in as well, trying to run away, and will just survive it. Now Mike Young showing up as well. Ulti out of Draven, forcing the flash out of Samax. And a bit more damage coming in as Zig finds his stun, and Mike Young still in the chase. Javelin, but it's going to hit the tank, so no chase on Hillsong. Out they go.
Ryu playing it very cool in the mid lane, knowing he had backup on the ways. Waited for the hook also from Hillsong before he actually decided to Valk away. We saw the same thing yesterday from Ryu. A man, of course, with a lot of experience playing against these Blitzcranks. And also dealing a lot of damage in return. So Samax had to use both summoners. Ryu only using heal after that fight. P1 still in a very good spot, despite now losing that bot lane tower.
And one of the kind of untold stories here is actually the gold advantage that is being built for for Arrow, plus the amount of adoration stacks he has. So when you're already 800 gold or so ahead, if you can cash in on a 300 or 400 stack kill, that can be such a massive injection of gold that you can really start to take over the team fights. Because he already has a significant lead, and he has been stacking that up through this whole game.
And he's getting that death stance right now, probably into the PD, so he's going to be super strong on 2 items as well. Ryu getting a bad trade in the mid lane.
Yeah, Hexer's still on cooldown for a few more seconds as well, so he could get chunked out once again by Exile, who's doing a pretty good job in that lane. 1-0 up in farm as well. Mike Young finds Hillsong, but now to jump away. He's going to get CC'd pretty heavily. He's got no way out. Exile 2-0.
Yeah, Hylissang did not expect to find Mike Young right there. He was going straight for Ryu, and then suddenly realizes, oh, there's an Italy in here. Easy kill though with Xerxes around. So 4 kills for Unicorns of Love. Chachi on the way to mid lane as well.
Yeah, and they're closing the gap nicely. Only 1,000 gold apart. And Unicorns of Love, if they have a reasonably decent early game, we all know their team fighting late game looks a whole lot better. So far, kind of according to plan for Unicorns.
Yeah, and this has been really nice for Unicorns to actually be playing better around the mid lane. This has been kind of one of the major strengths, I think, of the North American teams, playing around mid lane better. And UOL is having a lot of good roams, Hylissang being there in time, and I think they're playing it well.
I think they outscale and have better team fighting too. Of course, Gnar, Gragas, both amazing team fighters here. So Phoenix1 kind of have their work cut out for them. They have to, I think, to a certain point, start snowballing this game.
Well, they really want that kill on Arrow that Azeo was highlighting earlier. So might have to just settle for some damage on the tower. Exile.
Oh,
nice
special! Do they get the shutdown? And it's going to be Ryu who grabs it sadly for Phoenix1 fans. Hook almost lands on Arrow, but Xpecial, that hook was sick.
He's been playing so well, man. What a prediction. They're now getting the tower. They're not even leaving. They're actually going for more.
They're going to be flash hooking into
Hylissang. Could
Hylissang.
this be the cash in?
They have the flay, the cash. No! Ryu, the double agent, never fully left Europe, apparently.
Everyone backs off there to give it to Arrow, except for Ryu, who's going forward trying to get the kill.
Oh, man. Things Ryu says.
Great play from Xpecial there.
Absolutely the case, and it's still cash coming in, so we'll see how much more they can get. 2,500 up, Phoenix1, you can see Zig, and now this matchup has turned, even though the first blood came through. You can see Vizicachi able to easily push that Renekton around.
It's just such a crazy, big amount of gold if you actually get that kill on Draven, because it's the 300 or so gold for the kill, plus the 360 now from his stacks, and here is the hook. Beautiful prediction from Xpecial.
And funny enough, Exile didn't actually even try and dodge anything. Like, no one actually shot a skill shot towards his current location, so he had to jump back, but Xpecial was just kind of waiting for that correct moment, and then lands the prediction. Let's see actually what happens after, because Hylissang starts recalling right behind the tower, and then Xpecial just gets him with the long-range hook. Hylissang not able to juke it.
Yeah, and he had flashed down. There wasn't really an easy way out. I think Ryu could have probably given the kill over to Arrow, but oh well, such is life.
I mean, Ryu will obviously explain to his team that he needs the gold to be the big carry, because he doesn't have a Trinity Force at 15 minutes, and that normally is, you know, not a good thing for Ryu. So
really extra good double Sork shoes. Okay, you right-click twice, it's fine. We're good. You can undo. It's not a big problem. Sheenan.
It is a problem if you leave the well, though.
Yes, it is. He didn't, though, so it's fine.
You have 2 feet. You don't want 2 boots in League of Legends.
Nope. Just puts it on the bottom of his Rafflecopter.
His Rafflecopter?
Yeah, it's actually what it's called. Reconnaissance Ordnance Frontline Copter. The O might be wrong, but it's Reconnaissance something Frontline. I promise you it's true. Look it up.
I believe you, Freak.
I'm glad you do.
Let's see if Arrow can get that 1 kill, though, because the Unicorns of Love have now lost 2 of the outer turrets. They are, once again, down about 2,000 gold against P1, and reminds me a little bit of the game we saw day 1 between the teams, but not as bad for the Unicorns of Love because they were really far behind at that point.
Look, speaking of far behind, Zig now pushed back towards his bot lane tier 2 turret. Chachi getting a lot of pressure in here. And he will show up for a team fight at some point. Exile jumping in, finds himself a fly. Nice hook over the wall, finds Xpecial. As Hylissang looks to make that one happen. The Ignite is on. Looking to still burn him down. A couple more shots will do it. Explosive cast comes in. Exile getting 1 kill picked up. Arrow not yet into the fight, but a little bit of a slow coming in from the package thanks to Ryu. Still escape coming in. Oh, Exile killed himself off the javelin. I think he tried to dodge and couldn't quite do it. Mike Young picking up the kill.
Oh, he's trying to make the big plays. Now he's getting some early kills. Bot lane, we also see a trade, but it looks like Chachi.
No, it's larceny, dude. There's no real trade. Zig just running out of health right now. Has to flash away from the Mega Gnar stun.
Yeah, just really well played by Chachi. He's starting to take over in this 1v1. Ryu is coming down, but I mean, Chachi is very healthy. He's in Mega. We'll see if he can actually pull off the 1v2.
Is he going to find it? Yep, flashed in a stun. Looks for the kill onto Renekton, but Summoner heal from Ryu saves his teammate a little bit more longer, and that should be the kill picked up. Yes, flash down. Kill still comes through.
Yeah, I think Zig stunned him there. Moment Chachi actually flashed in and then knocked Zig into the wall, so he couldn't do any follow-up damage right away, and Chachi ends up dying and using that flash. Ryu, this time around, only gets an assist, sadly for him. Got denied a few more kills. P1, though, once again, winning out.
Yeah, and Ryu is getting very strong. He's taken over 2 games in a row on Corki. He's looking well on his way to this third. You know, being able to pick up all these turrets has helped out P1 quite a lot, too, and they're opening up this lead. Mike Young is behind Exile. If he commits too much, he could be in trouble.
Some good damage coming through. The chains are back in, back and forth. Finally pops the Hex Drinker, and Exile still feels pretty comfortable. Ryu got to jump back. Gets a Lantern, has 100 health left in. He's got to be very careful. Gets a quick kill from Nidalee. Stay alive for now.
Mike Young, I think, was thinking he was going to distort back, but he just fully committed to that. So being around on the backside of the fight actually did nothing for them, and Ryu has to run away.
He's not making that mistake again. He tried once, he died for it. This time he just stays until he actually needs to do.
Back again.
Yeah, never go back, just stay in. Well, he actually went back here and died as well, so twice he's gone back and he's died for it.
The third time.
The
you
third
never
time.
get him the third time.
See, let's see this fight here. So Especial, he ends up dying. Meanwhile, we actually have Ryu coming from top lane, so he's not here yet to join the team with the package. Joins in, Exile jumps out, and he's like, no. Oh, he just takes the spear and then jumps back.
Yeah.
At least jump back and dodge the spear.
That's what I was saying. I think he tried to dodge and was late on the play, or just realized a bit late that it was hitting him. I'm not sure
I mean,
which.
even if you dodge, I think you probably go back and die unless you have the RW up to get out. But
yeah.
Risky play at least.
Yeah.
Risky, and clearly it does not pay out for him. So down he went, and that was his second death overall. We look back at the mid lane siege, though. Unicorns of Love, as they would do, of course, staying in the mid lane. Nice dodge there, gets away from Phosphorus Bomb. Double chain is in, and Ryu. Hexdrinker's on cooldown, though. It could be good for Exile. Mega One's going to miss. They got to be careful. The cooldowns are back up, but
Arrow
Chachi
can
actually
cash
found underneath the turret. The box slow is in, and yes, Arrow cashes in for huge dollars.
1,050 gold on the cash in there. He just picked up over 1,300 gold on that kill. That is so big for Draven snowballing. He can complete his next item.
He's 2,000 gold ahead of Samex right now after that one kill picked up by Arrow. P1 will also get the Rift held. Meanwhile, bot lane, we still saw some trading happening. Well, right now...
It's going to despawn in 30 seconds. Okay, they've got enough time.
Samex and Hylissang and Xerxes actually on the way, but will be too slow. Actually, they're tipping in as well. They're going to fight now.
Looking for the play, going to smite it away. They're going to grab that marker, and here comes the team fight as Ryu's far enough away. Nice hook in, pulls in one. Mike Young forced to run through the spray and pray the damage is there. They're going to be Samex picking up a special. Chachi TP's in to continue the fight a little bit later.
If P1 can get out, though, with just the one loss, it's not a big deal. I mean, that's 2 TPs coming in, and they still secured the Rift Herald, so they just want to disengage now. Zig, pretty far up, though, does need to show the respect to UOL as they were in the area.
Looks like he's fine enough. Finishes the wave clear off, and they're okay for just a little bit longer here on this one. You can see that Rapid Fire Cannon is now in the mix for Arrow, moving towards probably Quicksilver Sash. Maybe it's a Hexdrinker, but knows he has to respect some magic damage, some hard CC.
Yeah, a little bit of a defensive build. You know, pick up a bit of MR here, and you can actually move forward in these fights. You become very, very tanky, and here is the cash in. We didn't get to see the start of the play. We'll see if Chachi gets caught again by a hook. Xpecial has just been on fire this game.
Yeah, so good from Xpecial. Actually, multiple games at this tournament where he's been shining. A lot of guys obviously talking about Mike Young specifically, but Xpecial, a guy at the community especially picking up on here, also is doing well.
And how crucial in that fight that Ryu was in bot lane right there. You saw Mike Young. The rest of the team stopped hitting Chachi so that Arrow get the last hit. We all know Ryu would have grabbed that one as soon as he could have.
Yeah, there was a Ryu package into like a long-range missile getting that one kill.
Tried.
This is mine.
He would have tried. We all know it. Mike Young going to solo the Cloud Drake, and North America continues their chain of picking up all the dragons.
Did you guys see Fnatic got a Drake in the last game they played?
Wow.
Oh, did they get one? I think they got one. I don't actually remember. They might still be on 0, which would be very impressive, but obviously not playing this game. Still, North America getting the Drakes. Europe doesn't really want the Cloud Drakes anyway. Nah.
It's not important yet in the group stage. They're just sandbagging. They're pulling an LPL. They're gonna make sure everyone miss.
You just gotta win the final.
Exactly. And it might be Unicorns Love. If they win here, they're going to the final.
UOL, the tanky the turret, just gonna be sieging this one up. Should be able to take it down, but I mean, Ryu is coming over.
We'll see if it comes through. Exile a bit low on health. Ryu waiting around to the side. Package is down.
I feel like we keep seeing these 2 mid laners fight each other in the side lanes. Zig is left alone, though.
Yeah, and I mean, Zig is actually getting a fairly significant CS advantage in these side lanes because Chachi is trying to group with the team. They're trying to force, and the P1 squad is actually playing well around that, not committing to the fights and allowing him to get some advantages. And really credit to the whole P1 team, who seems to be doing well across the board.
This is, again, the classic Unicorns game where you feel like the other team has figured it out, you know. Don't just run 5-man mid lane and take that big team fight. And when you then start hyping it up, suddenly in 5-6 minutes, you get that big fight in the mid lane and everything just goes wrong and Unicorns will win the fight. But maybe not this time around. P1, as you said, doing really well playing the side lanes, and Ryu once again want to fight Exile.
The play on Exile, pretty good damage down. His cooldowns are missing so far, so Exile can't do much except the chain. It's a kill from Mike Young. Seems he's just fine. Trinity Force then means plenty of damage.
And, you know, if that big team fight breaks out, you know, you will need to kind of stem the bleeding a little bit here. They don't want to be giving up too much gold because if you're down, you know, 5, 10K when that fight happens, sometimes it doesn't really matter how well you perform in it. They're already down 6,000 gold looking to crack an inhibitor with this Rift Arrow.
I get a fight, though, with this Rift Arrow being popped because Unicorns are here to try and defend.
No BT from Chachi, though, and he's on the bot side. Zig does have his.
Half HP on an inhib turret. It will respawn, or sorry, I should say regenerate a bit slowly over time, but it might mean more later on. But you're right, Unicorns of Love was there to defend. There's only 1 minute left on the trinket, so they said better half HP on something than nothing at all, and they chose to get a little something out of it. But again, that cost them a kill to even go for Rift Herald. So 1 kill for half an inhibitor, maybe is not the trade you really wanted.
But if you are P1, you got that top tower before that, and you had some good vision in the jungle as well, and kind of been able to avoid the Unicorns of Love team fighting. But funny enough, Unicorns, they're right back in the mid lane. Chachi's coming in as well. This tower is still alive, but I think if Unicorns are going to take it down, they need like a pick first. They need that 1 hook from Hylissang into a kill that can actually get them that mid lane tower. We might just get a lot of plays around Baron at this point, where Unicorns of Love are currently sitting a little bit far back, and they have to find the 1 opening.
I've got to commend Zig a little bit for his build here. I think that not going into the Titanic Hydra, not going for a second damage item makes a lot of sense here. You have 2 marksmen and the Nidalee to dish out a lot of damage. He just needs to stay alive in the front line and kind of soak that up, because if you can be that sponge to absorb the blitz hooks, then this Draven and this Corki can really get a lot of work done.
Absolutely agree. Very smart to be more of a tank here now. Ryu going to be a little bit attacked. Valkyrie's waits a bit quicker, but here's the flash hook is going to land on him. Maybe should have taken the lantern after all. He's going to be taking so much damage, should be killed off. Hylissang sadly steals it away. Samix would have loved that gold.
But that was that 1 hook. We just talked about how Unicorns of Love are just looking for a play in the mid lane with Hylissang. They're trying to get this tower down there. Arrow is still here with full HP. Hylissang looking for more.
For the hook, he could find Arrow. Quick lantern, and this one he gets out from.
You've got to say the hook was easily avoidable, though. Take the lantern, then Valkyrie, and you can't even follow with the flash. He also had his flash available and did not use it. So Ryu, definitely some mechanical errors there, some decision-making errors to get picked off. It's a good move for UOL, but the fact that they didn't get any more kills means they couldn't go to the Baron.
Because also Hylissang with the flash down now, meaning he can't look for that exact same play as we saw just before here. Still only 1 turret for Unicorns of Love down the bottom lane. Mid lane is very low at this point. Top lane right now is pretty healthy, so Unicorns really just want to get that 1 mid tower so they can push deeper down in the mid lane and start setting up for Baron. But they have to respect the fact that 5k down. So if they take a fight right now, I think P1 can easily win it.
Totally agree. 5k down. Their scaling on champions is a bit different, of course. Draven, I think, not the best team fighter, but Twitch is amazing. So you got to see what kind of situation they get themselves into. P1, not the best assassin. Samix should be pretty untouched, as long as he can keep building up. Looking now for more of the mid lane. Arrow gets tagged, a little bit of damage. And it's going to be a bit out of falling. Nice job, Unicorns of Love, with the deficit getting it back a little bit closer here. And
we have seen how effective Chachi is in these team fights on the Gnar. If he can get in there and actually, CC up some of these marksmen, I think certainly the Twitch can take over the fight. But that being said, we've talked about all the team fighting strength on UL. LeBlanc, it's actually pretty hard to team fight. And if you go in, you get CC'd up, you will get burst down by this double marksman composition very quickly. So there's strengths and weaknesses on both these teams in the team fights.
Yeah, and Exile really is building here for poke. You jump in with distortion, you have your active to use from your Gunblade, and then you also have a little quick auto attack with Lichbane just to try and get as much poke damage up front. But it's not the greatest build for pure all-inning.
Yeah.
So he's very much focused on just trying to find, again, one guy caught, maybe left alone, and then suddenly a chain into a hook. That's a combination that is hard to avoid if you get locked down in the first place.
Yeah, and if they can actually get to the side lanes, utilize their Gnar and their LeBlanc in this 1-3-1 style, they can buy a lot of time for the Twitch to scale up.
What is a side lane?
It's somewhere you can go to get additional
It's where
farm.
Chachi TP's back to the mid front.
Right, yes, exactly. So Chachi can go get some farm there. You're only allowed to actually push the other side lane around the river, and then you have to step away.
No man's land.
Back to mid you go.
Yeah, then you have to go back to mid lane. You can't stay away from mid lane too long.
Of course not.
It's always calling.
Spoken like a unicorn of love. Well, we'll see what comes into this one. Arrow gonna get a red buff. Fake Boots on his side of the river. He's allowed to be there. It's okay. He's not breaking the rules just yet.
Hey, those rules only go for unicorns.
It's only Unicorns of Love.
He can go where he wants.
All right. Well, Arrow's going to walk mid lane anyway. So, but he went past the river, so, there's something for him. 1 kill up for Unicorns of Love, 3-2. Both these teams' scorelines so far in the group stage.
See, we're back in mid lane.
Hook's not going to land.
I think at this point, P1 is saying, we actually want that fight. Like, we are fine taking the team fight. Chachi, though, he's making plays bot lane.
He's got a teammate in here. A lot of chain CC. Mike Young showing up as well, but how much can they get onto Zig? Gonna land the javelin. Can he dodge flash? the full out of Mike Young gets the heal as well. Zig now forced to run with 2 more autos will kill him off. Flash stun to buy some time. The Q to heal. The double kill for Mike Young, showing up in time and saving the day.
The rookie with the big plays there. Zig did a great job delaying. Mike Young able to come in, execute, exile, and now they can go to pressure the Baron. That's 2 down.
Exactly.
For UOL, but they do have their TPs when they respawn.
Well, they're TPs, but that's still now 25 seconds on Exile, 28 seconds on Visit. Chachi, there was no vision in that brush from the Unicorns off. They did not see the spear flying from Mike Young. And P1, they're starting the Baron.
Xerxes does have a chance to seal this, though, and Xpecial is going to look to zone him.
He's going to try to zone, but he's in a 1v2, 1v3 as Samek shows up as well. And how well is this going to happen? He's waiting around the wings. Xerxes waiting across the side. The chase over the wall. Arrow wants to get a kill picked up. And they're still trying to find someone to attack. Spraying Prey means a lot of damage. Flays into his box, comes up, 1,000 health. Here comes Xerxes. Can he make it happen? They're stopping damage. They're going for the kill. They took him up. Mike Young's got him. But now he can go for the smite. They have the damage up, but they have this one. They're going to pick it up. Baron going over to the Phoenix1, and the TP's get canceled.
I love the execution here from P1. They know as soon as Xerxes gets in that Baron pit, just stop DPS on Baron instantly. Do not let it get low enough so he can maybe get some damage on it and a smite. They just make sure that he's going to die first. Xpecial standing outside of the pit almost the entire time, trying to avoid Unicorns of Love and their members getting close enough.
Yeah, and it's easier said than done to actually pull off those.
Oh, that's hard.
If anyone has a split call there, that can get the Baron low enough. But here's the initial play. Zig, good job actually avoiding the wallop, and then does get stunned up.
And normally you should be able to dodge like a max range Nidalee spear, but they don't have any vision in this brush.
And
so
he's stunned.
Oh, he's actually stunned. Okay, so there's really nothing he could have done,
Actually
even if he saw it. And in the end, so with that play from P1, they get the Baron as well.
And Azil, you were talking about it was so smart for Zig to build tankier. He survives those few seconds because he stopped, didn't go Tiamat, got more tank stats, and did survive it.
And here's the Baron again. Arrow decides he's going to go over the wall as Twitch does get hooked up, trying to go for the kill, but Samek's going to be able to get out, and now it's all about Xerxes. And P1, really good job as soon as they go in to be able to stop that, take down
Spoiler,
Xerxes.
they got the Baron.
They did get the Baron. Now they're sieging.
Sieging with 8,000 gold lead. Ziggs finds a stun here onto Hylissang, knocked up into the air, has a lantern to come to safety, and no harm, no foul. Exile forces a joke away. Gets a chunk, and Zig down to 2,000 health.
Mike Young can heal him back up, though, especially with the Roa. He's going to have a lot of extra mana there. Going to be able to heal this up. You want Zig absorbing those Blitzcrank hooks. He's the man that it's okay to actually get hit by that. They have the Lantern to get him out. They have the double marksman to back him up.
That's always the key thing, Xpecial, and he's positioning with the Lantern here. He's always going to try and stay a bit behind his teammates so he can pull them all the way out of a potential fight.
Yep. And P1 have several long-range skill shots. Nidalee Javelins, Corki Rockets, and Xpecial's Thresh Hooks. And any one of those can land on a priority target and meaningfully change the outcome of the resulting fight. We'll see them continue the siege right here. It's a pretty good comp for P1 here on this. And more attacks on the turret come in. One more shot will do it in. And there we go. Mid lane tier 2 has fallen.
We also have to remember Samek's no Infinity Edge yet from him. We've seen a lot of gold in favor of P1 the last few minutes. Xerxes going in.
And they're going to silence some of this. Now the hook
Xerxes
onto the jungle tank. And they're going to get a kill on Xerxes. Mike Young unstoppable here on this. Ulti comes across, finding a bit of chunks down. Samek's at a 1k HP. Chachi low as well.
They have the Ocean Dragon, though, and they have the Nidalee, so they're going to heal back up. They're staying around for now. We'll see if they can continue the siege. Arrow can heal back up off the next wave, and I think they're just going to keep going.
With Xerxes dead, they should. Still 1 minute on this Baron buff. Here comes the next attempt for the middle inhibitor turret. It's going to fall rapidly. Stealth coming out, but there's no ulti for Samek, so the team fight's not going to be won easily. And if they even try a 4v5, Chain's going to land. Ziggs in the front line, damage on Chachi, forcing him back. Look at Arrow on the chase. But he's not going to go for much more. Inhibitor falls, and out goes the retreat. Right before the respawns come in. 10 seconds still till Xerxes is in.
And everyone from P1 trying to back away. Chachi did manage to get a slow on Xpecial.
Righteous Glory popped, it looked like, and Hylissang not going to find his opening. Maybe he still looks for this one. Of course, there's no TP for a jungler, so out they go.
Everyone disengaging from P1, so they get that inhib. Actually, never mind. Some of them are still staying around. They got that red buff. Mike Young trying to get some jungle creeps as well.
It's a little risky, but he's going to be safe enough.
Yeah, Lantern as well from Xpecial pulled the Draven back out, and suddenly everyone is gone. Unicorns of Love not able to get anything in return, and we're really just looking at Samek and his late game impact, but he needs that Infinity Edge.
He can afford it. He can afford it now. He's got enough money, so that's going to start pushing in on this one. He went for the Ruin King early to make the lane a bit easier, but it did delay that big crit power spike. But now he's really online. With Spray and Pray available, Samek belts out insane damage.
He is going to be really strong. So big item buys have come in to kind of match that strength, though. Arrow completing his Infinity Edge, has a Rage Pot here. The Void Staff's done for Mike Young. So their poke is going to become that much more powerful. And the actual all-in team fighting is quite strong from this team here, too. There's two big marksman threats.
Exactly. P1 here. When you sit with a Corki on your side against the LeBlanc on the other side, you favor the team fights for yourself. The Corki damage, of course, is fantastic in the late game.
And we also have to remember, I mean, if Samix gets too aggressive with his ultimate, he does not have a QSS. He does not have a Thresh to protect him. And if he gets stunned up, he can get burst down so fast by this Draven Corki combo.
Yeah, and we might see Zig just simply flash straight onto this Twitch and just try and stun him instantly. Yeah, even if you die as a Renekton, if you've bought enough time for your double 80 carries in the back to kill the enemy front line, you should win the fight.
Or the Nidalee just hit one spear. I mean, we've seen how fast Mike Young can take them down. We'll see if they can go for it, but they're setting up the siege again, and their siege is so powerful with this comp.
10 seconds left on Samix's flash. He needs to wait for that one, but he has spray and pray otherwise, so he'll be reasonably safe as long as he's not chain stunned for it. But all the summoners are available for Phoenix1. Every single one, all 10. Same situation for Unicorns of Love, so it's all available. It's just the gold difference, the item difference. XL jumping back over. You can see the damage he takes from those spinning axes. More shots towards that inhibitor turret. They're going to try right here, but maybe Unicorns will have defense. They get the knock-up ulti coming across, and ooh, look at the knockback. Really nice by Xerxes, but of course they brought in the tank, still enough to get the kill, and they hooked an arrow. Thankfully, just barely able to grab that lantern, but a great pick from Unicorns.
That CC chaining, though, was actually fantastic from the Unicorns of Love. That everything on Zig, that the chains from the Blanc, that, of course, the plays from Hylissang, and also the nice ulti from Xerxes.
And Xerxes standing directly on the lantern, so he could not actually be clicked. He moves over after Zig is knocked away, so track Zig in this fight. He gets knocked in, the lantern gets thrown out, and now watch Xerxes just move. He stands right on top of it. He's able to get over there, so he can't actually get out. No, lantern was actually a hook he was standing on.
It was that big Gragas bot you saw. Can't click on that either, though.
I don't know. I've auto-attacked plenty Gragas in my day. Works out for him.
Good for you, Freak.
Yep, I've attacked and auto. Yeah, we're gonna move on. Zig, 10 seconds on the respawn here. Phoenix1 gonna reset, and thankfully for them, there's no major objectives available. Unicorns of Love did not upgrade their turret count so far, so it was just a reprieve bot, some time, and now a second Zeal in for Samix. And again, that's gonna be the champion I'm watching. He's gonna be the carry in these fights. His 4th Twitch game of this tournament, and he's done well in it.
Yeah, and it's kind of the fantastic story with Samix, because when he joined last split, a lot of people were kind of questioning why. You know, this guy used to be a top laner for Giants in Season 3 in the LCS, and then he started playing AD carry after, and no one really knew what to expect from him. It was more like a role-playing AD carry on Unicorns of Love, but this split he's just become like a massive late-game carry. For the many, many games we've seen Samix be the man winning late-game team fights for Unicorns of Love.
And it does just take that one team fight. If Unicorns have proven time and time again, I mean, so many of these matches, it's felt like they've been losing the whole time, but they're getting their critical items, and if Samix can get the right angle, can find that correct team fight, they can make this game end.
Tank. He's got Ninja Tabbing and Randos. Look at the damage up there. They nearly take down Exile. And it's overall a health bar trade in favor of Phoenix1. The flash stun's going to find the jungler. Xerxes flashed away, staying alive a little bit longer, buying a bit more time, but now it's 2 chunked out.
That flash being gone from Renekton could be important for the Unicorns of Love, because now Samix can feel a bit safer in the back line. Mike Young and P1, though, they're going straight for Baron.
Yeah, Xerxes chunked out, and he doesn't have flash to help him try to steal this, so it could be tough for him to get in. UL are moving over, but they do not have vision.
They don't see Xerxes on that side of it. Here comes the TP, and it's going to be Exile rejoining the fight.
Samix with the ulti as well.
Can they make one happen? It's going to miss. Thankfully for Phoenix1, the smite lands in. Mike Young gets it.
Samix
finding arrow. Samix going to get a lot of damage across. Spray and pray across. Re-exhaust by some time. Knock up in a trade of kills so far. Thresh down for Gragas. 4v4 now. Zig low on health. Gets a stun. Looking to kill off Exile. The Javelin's going to do it. Double kill for Mike Young so far. And out he goes over the pit. Now Chachi. Might find from Orbit. Satchel Plant buys a bit more space. The Sonia's come in. A double kill. The third one going to come in. The full aces. And it's a full house. And Phoenix1 going to knock down Unicorns of Love with a push down towards mid.
Yeah, that's the game. The inhibitor is respawning, but it doesn't matter. You have the Baron minions there. They can just walk straight down mid. It looks like they're maybe hesitating a bit, though. They're going for 2 inhibitors, so they may decide to not try to end the game.
And it means that there's still more to be played in the group stage here. Unicorns do not secure their spot. Phoenix1 are still in the running to be the team instead of TSM to represent NA in the finals. And what a great run for an 8th place team to be 4-2 against Europe's best here at Rift Rivals, hoping to represent North America in the finals. GG to Phoenix1.
And I think this game was so well played by Phoenix1. It started early on. We saw some plays around top lane, obviously trading 1-for-1 in the end with Chachi. But then you also have to look at Rio in the mid lane. Like, Azel, you highlighted this man coming into the game, also on his Corki, saying like he's actually so often able to just get extremely fed on his own and then start taking over games as well. And he had another great performance.
I mean, it's just fun to see them playing their style and succeeding at it. I mean, in Italy, first time it comes out of this tournament, extremely dominant performance here from Mike Young, but the fact that Aero has the confidence to bring out the Draven here, the game was not about him, but he still played well.
He got that one kill, he got the cash in.
He did get cash in. He had a lot of stacks, I imagine, by the end.
Absolutely the case here. So smiles and handshakes there across these guys. Scumbag kill steals from the squad, but it certainly worked out. And even if Aero is not to play another match here at Rift Rivals 2017, he got to bring out his trademark Draven, got to take a win, and got to keep the tournament a little bit more interesting. We still have to wait to see if TSM beat G2. They'll be 5-1 and they'll go no matter what. Phoenix1 had already dropped 2 games. That can still be decided. Of course, Fnatic must beat Cloud9 to have this sort of tie-break alongside Unicorns of Love. So the last 2 games are going to determine who actually represents in the final tomorrow.
Would be a weird story if the struggling G2 takes down TSM, sends P1 to the final, and then suddenly...
And keep in mind, Fnatic actually 2-0'd Phoenix1 during this group stage. So if that's the matchup, Fnatic have categorically won that.
G2, it'll just be like MSI all over again. G2 knocking TSM out of groups.
It's all about G2 then, all of a sudden. But obviously, yeah, Fnatic next game, they also have to win. And they didn't look too hot earlier today. I think this game, though, P1 once again showing that they are much better than the current standings in the North American LCS. Or North America has 8 teams that are just really strong.
I like option number 2.
Oh, you guys like number 2?
That one sounds good to me.
I'm going option 3, which is that they're 3-2 with this lineup in North America, and they're 4-2 here against Europe. So it's a lot more even here in this one. Either way, Phoenix1 found themselves a victory here against Unicorns of Love. So let's check in with our analysts for more in that game.
Thank you very much, Freak. Indeed, fantastic. What are you giggling about?
Yeah, he made a good point. Phoenix1.
Are you laughing at my crutch word?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah, indeed. Definitely so. But moving on, let's take a look at picks and bans. Trashy, you were not too happy with the first pick, Gragas, if I recall. And what about the rest of the plan?
I mean, I think it's, in 9 out of 10 situations, it's solid. But with the 3 bans they do in jungle here from UL, it's pretty obvious that he's going to pick Nidalee. And I think there could be better options. Like, for example, Kha'Zix could be a better option into Nidalee because you can win 1v1 against the Nidalee super easily. So I think they could have done better in the drafting phase, but the game was not decided in the draft for sure.
I think it was. Mike Young got Nidalee.
Well, it's really awkward, as Trashy was saying. You know, the 10 out of 10 situation is you're playing against Mike Young and you're forcing him onto Nidalee into the Gragas matchup, which, to be fair, it used to be a lot worse for the Gragas. It's still bad, especially with super leashes coming from blue side, though. So, yeah, I was definitely a little bit
flabbergasted. What does it mean?
How the matchup is being played is like Nidalee pretty much has the freedom in the early game to do whatever she wants, and she has a lot more pace in the jungle. So he pretty much has a free game to do whatever he wants, and we saw that in the early game where he was up in CS and he was snowballing the top matchup, so he had the freedom to do whatever.
Yeah, I think the whole idea would have been different if they actually like played with a different top lane matchup, but taking the Gnar into the Renekton is, or like picking the Gnar blind and having Renekton as a counter pick is actually pretty volatile, and that enables like top lane stalwart. But here as we see, like the Mike Young Nidalee coming in and actually like getting the poke down. And them just like getting catches on mid lane is what their comp wants to do, and they execute it perfectly.
They did, and Unicorns of Love didn't have any answer. Although some fights were pretty scrappy, but in the end they were too far ahead as well. Who's the best Nidalee in the world? And is it Mike Young?
I mean, it has to be Mike Young.
I think it's the only Nidalee in the world right now.
That's how Trick plays it. He played it once.
Okay, that game we don't mention. We forget it. No.
My scrim Nidalee is really clean too, but
is it? Right.
The world will never know.
The world will never know. Well, here we see him absolutely going off as well, and it wasn't enough for the Unicorns of Love. We're going to take a look at the deciding fight brought to you by Acer, which also still makes that Phoenix1 is still in the race to make it into the final tomorrow. And here, well, it was almost all over. Well, although Samuel Fernandez in the back, he's shooting hard, but not hard enough.
Yeah, I was screaming during that team fight because I actually thought for a second that Unicorns could win it, but here we see the CC going down on the LeBlanc, and then we see Mike Young jumping in with the Zhonya's, and that's just a really impressive play, like for a rookie jungler to make and actually like have the boards, so to say, to actually do that play.
You know when you pause before saying a word like that, it makes it
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter at all. Phoenix1, they kept their final hopes alive with a clutch performance against the Unicorns of Love, and we're going to send it over to Quickshot, who's ready with their mid laner and their jungler. Woo!
I am indeed. Thank you very much, Shox. And first and foremost, congratulations, Ryu and Mike Young. Mike, dude, they gave you Nidalee. Did you think that was going to happen here at Rift Rivals?
I had a feeling that ULL would just respect the Nidalee and open it up for this game today.
And I heard you saying just a moment ago, you had a good feeling going into this game. You end the group stage 4-2. Keeps your hopes at finals alive. Is that what you expected when flying to Berlin for the tournament?
Not at all. I was expecting to possibly get 1 or 2 wins in the tournament, and even that already exceeds the fans' expectations for us.
Well, definitely blowing fans' expectations out of the water, Mike Young. Ryu, returning to Europe.
Yeah.
You've played against all of these teams in the past, and now you're maybe going to the finals to represent North America. Is that exciting for you? What does that mean for you while playing in the studio you've competed in the past?
If we go final, I think it's pretty exciting for me. Yeah. I mean, I just feel good now. Yeah.
I'm very happy to hear that. What do you think of G2, Fnatic, and Unicorn's performance after it's been a while since you played against them?
Actually, I think before I came here, I think about they're good, like better than this situation. But I think they are downgraded a bit hard from last year.
Well, there we go. Downgraded from last year. Mike Young, what's your experience been as your group stage is now rounded up? And we don't know if you're in the finals. It's up to the next 2 games results and then some tiebreaker rules. But what's your experience been playing against these EU squads on what is an international stage?
I don't feel that necessarily NA is like the style is necessarily topping the EU teams. Like I'm coming in here, it's like, it's really easy to play against these junglers. I think that we do have a really intensive focus on jungling in NA because we have so many NA talents as well as like all these famous players like Lyra that we always have to play against since like last weekend. I had to play against Lyra, so it was really exciting then. So coming into this, I had some confidence because of our win against Envy as well as our win against Xmithy. But overall, I feel that we just improved as a whole during this event. Like we weren't necessarily very good beforehand, but we improved during the flight here. Somehow something clicked and we learned how to play together.
Ryu, it's really good to have you on the desk. It's really good to see you smiling and enjoying your games again. You've had a very good tournament. Is this something that you can attribute to, bonding with the team and growing like Mike Young was just saying, or is this just Ryu's tournament?
What's the question?
Why are you playing so well right now, Ryu? What's the secret?
I don't know. I think we just play better as a team when we came here. I think we just improved it here.
Which team of the European finalists, it's either going to be Unicorns of Love or Fnatic, would be easier to beat in a final?
I think Unicorns.
Unicorns?
Yeah.
Final question, Mike Young. Will it be Phoenix1 or Team Solo Mid representing North America tomorrow?
Well, I have a really good feeling about TSM's game today, or the last game, so I'm actually rooting for them against EU.
Well, NA versus EUs, it is what Rift Rivals is all about. Congratulations for blowing everybody's expectations out the water, guys. Fans and Mike Young here in the audience. We're going to head to an ad break. When we come back, Cloud9 versus Fnatic.